Hey guys, welcome back to Iron Lotus Martial Arts, the world leader in disciple-focused martial arts. I'm Shion Spencer. Joining me today, Sensei Evan, and we are going to be going over our yellow belt curriculum today in detail. So we're going to be first looking at Chinese sword A and then following that Chinese sword B, how they're really kind of opposites of the same coin. But we're going to be looking at this from kind of the principles of motion as well, okay? So we're going to be responding to a straight right punch. And when we do our first, when we do our first kind of like we're verbally de-escalating, we're going to get into our neutral stance. I prefer in my neutral stance a little bit 1 foot back already, just kind of like here, like, hey, I don't want problems. Okay, this is communicating, hey, I don't want problems, but it's also putting me in a ready stance where I can move. Okay, so while we're looking at it from that vantage point, we can also take a look at how this works with our straight right punch. So this guy, we can no longer avoid an altercation. Okay, if I am not ready for this, I'm going to have a harder time getting in here to disrupt, which is our principle that we're teaching here is disruption. We're disrupting his thought process. At the same time, we're disrupting his flow of what we want to call energy, not to get mystical, but all of his energy is moving towards my face, and I want to disrupt that. So I'm going to take a nice hard block here, and we've also got right here complementary rotational force. As I'm swiveling here, I'm turning and turning. So these two things here are turning together, and that's going to create more power, boom, for more disruption. I want to blast this as far away as humanly possible. If I get the foot here, that's a little extra free chicken, and that's great because as I get to my heel palm, I can break his ankle, which is going to be fantastic if you get that, okay? So just keeping that in mind, okay? Not testable, but where we're at. So again, Chinese sword A, we're starting from our neutral position. In class, a lot of times we're doing it from right here, and that's okay. I'm going to step, block, okay? Chop to the throat, and that's going to start my hip. I'm going to start turning my foot. We're going to utilize that same complementary rotational force, keeping my weapon in front of. So instead of turning my hip, leaving my shoulder back, and then throwing my weapon, that means this is all I've got, plus some slingshotting muscles in here. I want to drive all of that backup mass all the way into that opponent. So again, the step comes in, boom, punch, blocking. I can make this circular and chop. I can rise and fall, okay? That's going to help me with my ground force reaction and my marriage of gravity, okay? Here, and then my effective mass comes from keeping my shoulder in line with my kinetic chain all the way down to this foot all the way back here. And that's going to be that heel palm to the solar plexus. Realistically, this at speed right here is fast, but if it's done slower, we'll go slow, here, here. And I don't throw this right here right away, but what happens? I hit you in the throat, where are your hands going to start naturally going? Right? They're going to naturally go up towards his face here to protect his throat, because that's what happens when you get hit in the throat. I got hit in the throat, Dashifu Bob just wrecked my throat the other day. It was awesome. Dragon Fang straight to the hell. Felt that for a week, right? But my hands straight here. We call this the arc, the anticipated reaction condition. So if he's bringing his hands up to his face, it doesn't make sense for me to try to strike his face. What does make sense is for me to sink down, boom, and drive through his solar plexus, which is the muscular region here that controls his breath. So we want to knock his breath out because man can't breathe, man can't fight. So again, point of contact, he's here, point of control, I'm now in control, and I'm going to drive here, keeping the shoulder and the weapon in front of my hip, okay? I'm not turning my hip, then throwing the punch. I am turning my weapons here, and this is going to rotate over at the same time that that foot finishes its rotation. It's almost like it's locking it in together. Simultaneous turning is our complementary rotational force. That is a kind of a longer breakdown, more thorough breakdown of Chinese sword A as taught through the lens of Shinja Kenpo karate. Train responsibly. We'll see you guys on the next video.